Yes Bank stock dropped nearly 8% in trade yesterday after 23 lakh shares traded in a single block, and the activity in the derivative space pushed the stock in the F&O ban. Now, Navneet Johnson to talk about the futures and options data on the stock, and Navneet, why it shouldn't surprise too many people that the stock is in a ban.
Well, if you would have looked at the data yesterday or day before yesterday's data on closing, already the open interest was 91% of the market-wide position limit that we see for for all the F&O stocks. So for a stock to enter into the F&O ban, remember the total open interest that's across futures and options, it has to cross the 95% mark, and that exactly happened yesterday. There was a lot of trading activity happening on the F&O front. So yesterday, as of close, the total open interest was about 99% as a percentage of MWPL. So when does the stock come out of the F&O ban? That's a big question. When the total open interest will fall below the 80%, and that will only happen when the existing trades starts to get unwound by the traders who are already sitting with their position. So what does the F&O ban exactly means? You can definitely trade in the F&O market, but that has to be only intraday trading. If you're unable to close your position, if you tend to roll over, your brokers and the exchange will ask you to pay a penalty for the same. But looking at the futures and options data, we highlighted yesterday that the Yes Bank futures were trading at a discount. So yesterday's closing discount was also about 3 rupees. And if you look at the open interest in the last two sessions, why I'm taking last 2 days? Because you did get the news of fundraising post closing on Friday. And since then, we've only seen negative reaction coming in for stocks. So stocks down 13% since the time that news has come. Open interest on the futures has gone up by 8%, clearly telling you fresh shorting is coming in after the news is already come out in the market and priced. And of course, most of the brokerage notes highlighting how the investing community will now be wary of the quality of investors coming on board. What's the level now you can watch out? So maximum open interest on the option side, on the call side, is at 70 and 100 strike. If you look at the put strikes, it's 60 as well as 70. And what we saw yesterday was majority of call writing coming in at strikes like 60, 65. We've already breached that mark of 60 in yesterday's trading session, and 50 put saw major unwinding, and that was pretty surprising, because if somebody has written the 50 put, that person is expecting that the stock will not fall below that level, but that already happened in yesterday's trade. So support, I believe, could come in at 50 level. That's the key level to be watched out on the downside. And just looking at the cash activity also, Neeraj, the volumes which was seen on October 31st, when the news came in around 1 p.m. that they are looking at fundraising, they'll have a board meeting in the month of December. Even that day, the delivery data was just 12% of the traded quantity. That's telling you this is more of speculative trading. On majority of the days since then and before that, your delivery has been only sub 20%, giving you a clear indication it's a high beta counter. The margins on the stock futures has risen to nearly 50%. So brokers too are wary if somebody's trading into it, that pay us higher margins, because the stock tend to give you that wild moves.
And I reckon there will be significant unwinding necessary for the stock to come out of the ban as well. It doesn't seem like, unless there is heightened activity, it will be out of a ban in a hurry.
Yep, as I mentioned, it has to fall below the 80%, so it will take some time. So I don't know if some news again comes in. Of course, you'll not be able to take any position on the futures and options side, but you can definitely take a position in cash. And if you're unable to close that position, of course, you go in for auction if it's a short trade.
Yeah, but I think from the looks of it, Navneet, it stays in the ban for the time being. Yeah. Just looking at the quantum of positions that have been built already.
Just one more point, for the last 3 series, since the time SEBI has tightened the margin requirements, we've not seen stocks coming into the F&O ban. And Yes Bank, I think towards the end of November series, entered into the ban, and it's after a while we are once again seeing stocks entering. And a stock like Yes Bank, which is still a nifty counter, it's quite surprising.